In SoD Phase 4, Ret is getting some insane new runes, talent upgrades, and juicy gear. Let's go. First off, the new rune for the cloak slot is called Righteous Vengeance, and it causes your Judgment, Crusader Strike, and Divine Storm to deal 50% of their damage over time when they're a critical strike. So it's going to add some really good scaling for Ret when we talk about getting more critical strikes. Another big upgrade is to the talent Vindication. If you didn't see, this is not normally a talent that you would take in PvE, but now it's going to be an absolute lock-in. Every time you get Vindication, you're going to receive 15% additional attack power for 30 seconds, which just means it's going to be up all of the time. So it's really, really nice to have that. You're going to have the debuff as well, so in PvP, but in PvE, that 15% attack power is going to be insane. Some other big changes to runes are coming as well. As you can see in the chest slot, you no longer have to take Seal of Martyrdom. So instead, we're going to actually get Divine Storm in every situation, and we'll have Seal of Martyrdom baseline, which means that you're going to have that additional button to press, which is going to really fill out the rotation quite a bit. Another big change is to Art of War, which no longer automatically gives you back the use of Exorcism, but now it only reduces the remaining cooldown by 2 seconds. So that means that it's not necessarily going to be a talent that you want to take, especially because in the Bracer slot, you can take Purifying Power, and Purifying Power is going to reduce the cooldown of Exorcism from 15 seconds down to 7.5, which means that it's going to be available pretty often. And because you want to be casting things like Consecration, things like Crusader Strike, things like Divine Storm, and even now Judgment on cooldown, that means that you don't necessarily need those constant Exorcism procs. And in fact, because you're casting so many more spells, I believe you're actually going to be taking Guarded by the Light, which is going to give you a lot more mana back, and that's going to allow you to be able to just hit all those buttons that you need to hit, all those abilities, and not have to worry about mana, because mana is actually going to be a really big problem. Another nice change is that in the leg slot, it looks like we're probably going to be able to take Rebuke, so we'll have an interrupt for those dungeon situations, which is going to make Ret a lot more powerful in dungeons, and obviously in PvP, it's going to be really, really strong as well. In the head slot, I still think you're going to want to take Wrath, because you really want to make sure that Vengeance being up is going to be really, really important. And I'm not sure on the math on this one. I think we're going to have to do some more testing and see, because Fanaticism is going to be a big increase, obviously, to our Exorcism. However, because I believe more of our damage is going to be coming from the Crusader Strike, Divine Storm, and those kind of things, I don't know that we're going to need Fanaticism. I think Wrath is probably going to be there, and it's going to be really easy to keep up Consecration, even at rank 1 or 2, or maybe even max rank, depending on, the situation. I think in dungeons, you'll probably be able to take Wrath and use max rank Consecration, and then you'll just be chugging those drinks in between pulls. Another big change is that in the finger slot, you actually will be able to switch around your specialization, which means that the racial benefits between the different races, such as like a dwarf versus a human, for paladins, you'll be able to kind of make sure those things are there. And if you end up taking an axe like Arcanite Reaper, even human paladins will be able to get that 5% increased spec. Interestingly, there's also a holy specialization, which will increase your chance to hit with holy spells by 6%. So I don't know that you're necessarily going to need this, but if you have a sword, for example, or a sword or a mace, and you're a human, then you might take this one instead, and it would give you a 6% increased chance to hit on your exorcism spell. All right, so we're going to jump on over to Wowhead, and one of the other things that I wanted to talk about was the updated tier bonuses for the Molten Core Tier 1, and you can see the 2-piece bonus, Judgment of Light and Judgment of Wisdom, also grant the effects of Judgment of the Crusader, which is actually going to be really nice. A little bit of quality of life for us. We'll be able to put in Judgment of Light or Judgment of Wisdom, and then we'll apply Crusader as well. 2% critical strike chance is extremely good. Now, the juicy one, I think, and it's nice that it's only 6 set and not the full set, is that your Seal of Command, Seal of Righteousness, and Seal of Martyrdom now persists for 6 seconds after you cast another seal, or until you cast a third seal. Your judgments can now trigger multiple seals if active. So there's 2 big things going on here. Obviously, this is going to make seal twisting extremely easy, right? You'll just be able to switch in between these 2 seals basically as your rotation allows, and you are going to have a little bit of dead space in your rotation, even having Crusader Strike and Judgment and and Divine Storm and those exorcisms, you're still going to have a lot of that while you're maintaining consecration. You're going to have a little bit of time here or there that you'll be able to swap between the seals, and it won't be so dependent on having to time this with your weapon swing. So it's going to make seal twisting so much simpler. And the other big thing, obviously, is that your judgments now trigger multiple seals if active. So it's going to make it's going to make the judgment damage so much higher. And because of our brand new rune on Cape, Righteous Vengeance, our judgments are going to deal, when they deal a critical strike, you're going to get 50% additional damage. So you're going to get more damage from Righteous Vengeance, and on top of that, so getting that 6 set bonus is going to be really good. Unfortunately, the sets, the actual individual items that you get aren't super great. You can see, even for the Ret set, it's only got 10 strength, no crit or anything like that on the bracers. You're probably not going to wear the bracers. Interestingly, the bracers are BOP, I see. They normally were BOE, but I guess in SoD, maybe they're going to be BOP. Anyway, so the belt, 13 strength, 15 stamina, 20 int. The legs have 7 strength. I mean, I don't know if these stats are final. It seems like these stats can't be final because they don't seem very good. And even when you look at like the holy ones, there's strength on the gloves. So I can't see how these stats are going to be final on there. Hopefully they do another pass on these, because most of these I feel like you're not really going to want to take. But the bonuses are going to be so good that even with the stats being not great, you might still take them. But I have a feeling they're going to do a tuning pass on these, because things like the helmet has 9 strength on it, and the dungeon set helmet, the tier 0.5 set, has 30 strength. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say because the bonuses on the tier 0.5 stuff are actually pretty good too. So I think that I'm expecting the tier 1. The stats on the tier 1 to get looked at again, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Let me know in the comments what you think how Ret is looking in Phase 4 of SoD. It's coming out July 11th. Be sure to get your characters leveled up and get ready to go. We got Molten Core coming out. It's going to be extremely hype. I'm very excited for it. It's going to come right before the new retail expansion comes out, so hopefully we'll have time to level up and kind of get that started before we get pulled away to retail again if you're a retail Andy like me. However, SoD does look really, really fun. I'm really excited about the set bonus, all these new items that are going to be available. Tons of content is coming out as far as all the new dungeons, the new raid, Molten Core. There's actually a brand new boss that's coming out in Molten Core as well, so I'm excited about that. Be sure to hash that like button, subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Yeah.